Welcome to Whispers of History, where the past drifts in like mist over quiet hills and forgotten roads. If you're here to fall asleep with one foot in the present and the other toe dipping into a gently humming century, well, you're in good company. And tonight we're traveling to the humid lowlands of the Philippines, a place where shadows of Spanish steeples stretch across rice paddies, where carabaos, those gentle water buffalo, snort softly in muddy fields, and where once, long ago, but not that long ago, farmers used to sing to their bananas at dusk. Yes, really, bananas, the singing part, we'll get there. But first, take a breath, loosen your jaw, wiggle your toes. Now a tiny, cheeky warning, you probably won't make it through this day in one go. That's okay. This is slow history, sleepy history. The kind that understands if you nod off halfway through a farming ritual or lose the thread somewhere between a colonial tax policy and a sweet, plaintive folk song. So before your eyes get too heavy, go ahead and like and subscribe gently, of course. Let us know in the comments, what's your location and your local time? We'd love to imagine where in the world you're drifting off tonight. Now let's ease into tonight's journey. It's the late 1800s. The island is Luzon. It's hot, but not unpleasantly so, more like the warmth that wraps you after a long nap in the afternoon. You're standing at the edge of a banana grove just outside a small barangay, the Tagalog word for village. Your feet sink slightly into the dirt path, still soft from the early rain. The leaves are massive, bright green, waxy, waving slowly like they've got secrets but don't mind you being here. As a few paces down, you see a woman in a faded blouse and a long skirt. Her feet are bare. She is singing, softly, rhythmically. She isn't performing for anyone but the fruit. No one finds this strange. This is a practice known as saging banana serenading. The belief that the bananas grow plumper and more obedient if you treat them kindly. You don't speak Tagalog, but you feel the tone. It's soothing, patient. The kind of lullaby that might convince even the most stubborn fruit to ripen on schedule. Strange, perhaps, but not entirely unlike talking to houseplants. Except these plants fight typhoons, grow in bunches like hanging lanterns, and occasionally try to escape harvest by staying green longer than they should. His historical record confirms that by the 19th century, rural farmers had already formed unique agricultural rituals combining pre-colonial animism with post-colonial Catholicism. Singing to crops was part prayer, part science, and part, well, it worked for my grandfather. Now, whether bananas actually responded to lullabies is, unsurprisingly, still debated by historians. One theory suggests it was less about plant psychology and more about consistency. Singing meant you were tending. Tending meant higher yields, simple. As the sun sinks toward the tree line, warm amber light stretches across the paddies. A carabao lifts its head lazily and snorts. Somewhere, a bamboo wind chime clacks out a tired little rhythm. And just like that, you're no longer a visitor. You're here. In this slow, musical world where time is measured in moonrises and harvest cycles. And you haven't even seen the night market yet. You walk a little farther, following the dirt path until it turns into packed stones. The sun is lower now, everything's gone a little golden, like someone smeared honey over the sky. The village is waking up for the evening. Roosters strut like they've got somewhere to be. A child with a shaved head and wide grin runs past you barefoot, holding what looks like a tiny woven basket filled with river pebbles. Probably a game. Probably with rules no adult fully remembers. You pass a hut on stilts. The traditional, its roof made of nipa palm and walls of woven bamboo. From inside, you hear the sharp clack of a wooden pestle and mortar. Someone's grinding rice for a sticky rice cake that manages to be both celebratory and mildly suspicious in texture. A grandmother waves at you with a wooden spoon. Her arms are strong, her back curved like a question mark. She's cooking over a clay stove called a kalanan where firewood crackles gently. She mumbles something that sounds like a blessing or maybe a joke about your city shoes. You nod politely, unsure if you've just been welcomed or teased. Though the air smells of coconut smoke and crushed ginger, you're starting to realize that nothing here happens fast, but everything here happens deep. Let's talk about bananas again, specifically the Nsaba varieties. Slender, sweet, a favorite for eating fresh. Saba thicker, starchier, always headed for a pot of syrup or a frying pan. In this village, bananas aren't a snack. They're a cornerstone of survival. And yet they're finicky. The fruit is sensitive to wind, soil acidity, and gossip, probably. They grow in clusters called hands and die after bearing fruit once. So yes, you sing to them. You beg, flatter, and sometimes scold them. Some farmers even tied red ribbons to the stalks, believing the color warded off pests and envy. You wonder if the bananas minded being dressed up like festival floats. One 1883 Spanish missionary wrote of arriving in a village just as dusk fell. The women in the fields began to sing, and I thought it a hymn, but soon learned it was directed not at God, but at the fruits they loved. Was he scandalized, intrigued, or just confused because he didn't understand the lyrics? Historians still debate whether this account was literal or simply an interpretation of rural poetry. But here's the obscure bit. Certain banana farmers believed that if a child under 5 picked the fruit, the tree would hold its sweetness for future harvests. This led to entire ceremonies involving toddlers in oversized straw hats being marched into fields like royalty. Just imagine being that child. No idea what's going on, but very aware that everyone is watching you pluck a banana like it's the Holy Grails. Night is falling. You hear the distant sound of a traditional instrument made of gongs chiming from the communal hut. A few villagers begin lighting oil lamps. Though the shadows stretch, a dog yawns loudly enough to suggest boredom with the day's events. You sit on a log. Someone offers you a sweet banana fritter called. It tastes like fried sugar and stories passed down 3 generations. You feel calm. Somewhere nearby, someone is still singing. You can't see them, but the notes drift like mist. Now this was only the beginning. You wake not from sleep, but from something gentler, a kind of mental sway, like rocking slowly in a hammock after twilight. The village hasn't gone to bed, not quite. It's transitioned, slipped into its softer version of self, the version with less shouting, more laughter, less doing, more listening. Though the night market has started. It's not big, just a few stalls made of bamboo and palm, but it glows like fireflies have gathered for a gossip session. Each vendor has a little kerosene lamp or a string of flickering yellow bulbs strung overhead, giving everything a halo of warmth. You wander in, your steps slow, your eyes catching on details your daylight brain might skip. One stall is selling salted duck eggs dyed bright fuchsia, because plain white would be too easy, obviously. Another has woven fans in every size, one of which is shaped like a rooster. You don't ask why. Some things are just meant to exist. You pause in front of a young woman selling a cassava cake wrapped in banana leaf. She unwraps one, steam curling up like a spell, and offers it without words. You nod, take it, taste it. It's earthy, sweet, and vaguely reminds you of rainy Saturdays. You don't ask for the recipe, she wouldn't give it to you anyway. As you walk, you hear conversations not meant for you, but still somehow welcoming. A man arguing about how his cousin's cow is definitely cursed. A teenager humming the melody to an old love song, completely unaware that he's on key for once. A group of older men sitting around a chessboard with pieces carved from old bones and bottle caps. One turns to you and says, "You look like you've never lost a game and never won one either." While you smile, you don't know what that means, but it feels accurate. Bananas come up again, this time in gossip. Did you hear crop refused to turn yellow last week? One vendor whispers. He didn't sing for 2 nights, he thinks the trees noticed. Another nods, they always do, they miss you when you forget. You pause, are the banana trees petty, emotional? Or is it just projection, humans assigning moods to anything that grows in silence? Modern science will say, no, of course bananas can't hear. But maybe science never stood barefoot in a grove at dusk, voice trembling in the dark, hopping something listens. There's a belief hard to trace, possibly more rumor than religion, that the nature spirits of old Tagalog animism linger near banana trees. Not inside them exactly, but nearby, like old neighbors who never moved away. The belief persists in patches. Rural households avoid cutting banana stalks after sundown. Children are warned not to point at the trees. And if one must pass through a grove at night, they're told to say tabi tabi po, a polite request for safe passage from unseen watchers. Historians disagree on how long this superstition has existed, some say centuries. Others argue it's newer than people think. But everyone agrees on one thing, even the skeptical still say tabi tabi po, just in case. The market begins to quiet. Oil lamps sputter. A few vendors pack up early. One man sings a line from an old ballad, his voice as steady as the river that slices through this region's hills. As you return to your temporary bed, a woven mat in a corner hut lent to you for the night, You hear again the sound of someone singing softly, probably to their fruit. Or maybe by now just to the dark. You lie down, the mat creaks like an old friend stretching its back. A mosquito net rustles above your head, the last light goes out and the night inhales around you. Slow, ancient, familiar. The wind carries the scent of banana leaves, and dreams you don't quite remember. Morning comes like a gentle drum roll, not loud but persistent. A rooster tries to be dramatic about it. A child yells something about mangoes. A neighbor coughs with the volume of someone trying to make a point. You rise. As outside, the village is already awake. The sun hasn't climbed far, but the air is soft and alert, like it's had its coffee and is ready to negotiate. A breakfast is offered without ceremony, a tin plate of fried rice, salted fish, and a tomato sliced with great ambition but limited skill. It's delicious. It would be considered artisanal in Brooklyn. Here, it's just Thursday. You sit on the bamboo steps of the hut, eating slowly. Chickens peck around your feet like they own the land, and technically they might. Across the clearing, a man tends to a small grove of bananas. He doesn't sing, not this time. He's inspecting the leaves, talking to himself. You can't hear what he's saying, but you recognize the rhythm, a litany of worry disguised as gardening. The bananas, despite their current supermarket ubiquity, are actually drama queens. They bruise easily, attract pests, and occasionally fall over for no reason. The plants don't grow from seeds but from underground stems called rhizomes, which basically makes them giant grass with high expectations. And here's the obscure detail of the day. Before colonial rule, some communities used banana fibers to weave textiles for ritual clothing. The saya, that now iconic national dress, was once made using these rough yet durable fibers known as wearing one was like showing up to a wedding in a formal outfit made of leafy linen. Stunning, itchy, and probably a bit noisy. You wander back toward the banana grove from yesterday, your feet remembering the way before your mind does. The trees are still, but not silent. The wind plays with the leaves like it's reading old letters aloud. You crouch near one tree, you whisper to it something simple. A good morning, a thank you. Do you believe it hears you? Maybe, maybe not. But like generations before you, you realize it doesn't matter. Here, ritual is less about faith and more about rhythm. A way of being consistent in a world that rarely is. You stand brushing dirt from your palms. The day is opening its eyes. You feel a strange comfort in the slowness of it all, how nothing here is in a rush, yet everything gets done. The farmer waves at you. He's holding a knife in one hand and a half-peeled banana in the other. Want one? He asks. You nod. He tosses it over, you catch it. It's perfectly ripe, not too sweet, not too soft. You wonder how much of that is due to singing. You peel the banana slowly, not because you're trying to savor it like a poet, but because it's too beautiful outside to rush anything. The sun is still soft, resting on the tree tops. The morning light feels filtered, like the world remembered to turn its brightness down. A breeze stirs, lifting the banana leaves like lazy sails. Birds are arguing in the canopy, probably about territory, probably about nothing. You take a bite and immediately regret ever thinking of bananas as boring. It's mellow, almost floral, with that tender starchiness only field-ripened fruit can manage. You sit down right there, cross-legged in the dirt, and eat like the world is paused, because in a way it is. The farmer sits down beside you, his shirt already damp with the day's work. He doesn't say much at first. Just pulls out a cigarette he doesn't light and chews on the end like it's a habit more than a vice. You know, he says finally, we don't just sing to make them grow. You look at him, he's staring at the trees, not you. It's so they don't get lonely. You nod, not because you understand yet, but because it seems like something you're supposed to agree with. And then he tells you something stranger. That sometimes the plants remember people. That an old farmer once swore his grove drooped after his wife died, only perking back up when he started singing her favorite song. It's not science, but it's not science either. He shrugs, everything alive listens to something. You sit with that for a while. There's something oddly comforting about imagining that a banana plant cares. That it listens, that it mourns, that it has an emotional leaf or two. The farmer points to a tree marked with red string. That one my father planted. He used to talk to it like it was his dog. You ask how old the tree is, he laughs. Banana trees don't live long, but their children do. That one's the fifth clone. Yes, banana plants don't propagate by seed but by suckers. Which means this tree is a memory. A living photocopy of the one before it. And that, you realize, is a fact most people forget. Bananas are clones. Most commercial bananas, including the Cavendish, are genetically identical. A miracle and a warning. A single fungal disease could wipe out the entire species. It's happened before. Remember the big, creamy banana that supposedly tasted better than today's standard. It vanished in the mid-20th century due to Panama disease, a fungal plague that devastated plantations around the world. And yet here, on this little plot of land, a local banana variety quietly resists. Smaller, tougher, more stubborn, like the people who grow it. That's the difference between industrial agriculture and this kind of farming. One bets on uniformity. The other leans into personality. You and the farmer finish your bananas. He stands up slowly, knees cracking like firewood. Are you staying another day? He asks. You think for a moment, then nod. Good, because the woven hammock behind the house is calling your name. And you still haven't met the village's singing twins who believe banana trees grant wishes. You find the twins by accident. They're sitting beneath a mango tree, feet dangling off a small wooden bridge that spans the quietest stream you've ever seen. The water barely moves, but it reflects the sky like it has nothing better to do. The twins are maybe 10, or 12, or forever. They dress alike, loose shirts, mismatched shorts, hair tied with banana twine. They spot you immediately, giggle, then pretend you're not there. You take the cue, sit down across from them and look at the water. Though the older one by 6 minutes, she insists, points toward the far edge of the stream where banana trees rise like a green tide. That grove's magic, she says. You raise an eyebrow. If you sing to it just right, the younger twin adds, and if your wish is very small, like very, very small, it might come true. You ask for examples. I wished for rain on my birthday, one says proudly. I wished for a mango that didn't have worms, says the other. You laugh quietly. What strikes you is whether the grove is magical. It's that these girls believe in asking for less. Wishes that aren't grand, wishes that whisper. Later that day, you learn more about them from their grandmother. She's one of the village elders, always seated beneath the tree that nobody touches. She tells you the girls were born during the tail end of a monsoon season when banana trees were collapsing under wind and mud. The family almost named them and they sing often. Little duets with no rhythm, no structure, just breath and melody, sung into the leaves like lullabies that forgot who they were for. You ask the grandmother why she lets them believe in tree magic. She squints at you, then smiles with only her eyes. A belief is not something we give to children, she says. It's something they lend to us. And there it is again, that rhythm, that difference in philosophy. Where modern logic would dismiss a singing ritual as quaint, this village treats it as infrastructure, cultural scaffolding, something that holds up the sky. You begin to realize something else. Banana farming here is not just agricultural, it's relational. The songs aren't always melodic. Some are like prayers, others like arguments. One man reportedly raps to his banana grove using words borrowed from Manila hip-hop radio stations. His harvest is excellent. Correlation or causation, you decide. In the evening, you visit a family who grows bananas exclusively. They've carved dozens of drying racks for banana chips, called banana Q, sweetened with caramelized sugar. You help stir one batch using a massive iron wok, the kind that could probably double as a small boat if needed. While the sugar sticks to your fingers, you taste it. It's like sun-hardened joy. And as the banana chips cool, the father of the house begins to sing. It's a slow song, very low, like a hymn buried under decades of dust. You ask where the song came from. My grandfather sang it, he says. He said it was from before the Americans came, maybe before the Spanish too. You ask what it means. He shrugs, we forgot the words, but not the tune. Historians naturally don't have this one figured out. There's little written evidence of banana songs, and most were passed down orally. The Spanish friars often dismissed local singing as noise, and American ethnographers found it folksy but repetitive. But still, the melodies linger. You lie down that night on your woven mat. This time the air feels different, heavier with stories, lighter with laughter. As in the dark the grove hums faintly, not audibly but through memory, through belief. Though the trees do not speak, but they have never stopped listening. As it rains the next morning. Not a dramatic downpour, just the kind of rain that knows it has all day. A slow, rhythmic drizzle that seems to be playing a xylophone across the banana leaves. You wake up to its sound, nestled in your borrowed hut. The thatched roof creaks softly overhead, the way old books do when you open them after years. As outside, the world has turned a deeper green, saturated, serious about being alive. The villagers move slower in the rain, but they don't stop. You see a woman walking barefoot with a towel on her head and a bundle of banana shoots in her arms like they're bobbies. Someone is boiling ginger tea in a clay pot, and its spicy scent floats across the path and finds you before your feet even hit the ground. Today is transplanting day. The bananas, like many plants, don't stay put forever. When the shoots, called suckers or pups, get tall enough, they're moved from the mother plant and given space to grow. It's an old, simple ritual, but here it's treated with a kind of reverence. You follow the family as they move through the wet earth. Each sucker is placed gently into a small hole like it's being tucked in for a nap. They press soil around the base with practiced palms. No ceremony, no priest, but still sacred. One man hums under his breath as he works, a low tune probably older than him. The mud clings to his ankles, his shirt is soaked, and yet he smiles. You ask if the rain makes it harder. He chuckles, makes it kinder. That's something you hadn't thought about. How the sky's timing is sometimes perfectly aligned with human effort. Not always, but just enough to make you believe it might be listening. Back in the village, a group of children is playing in puddles with banana leaves folded into makeshift boats. They race them down the narrow irrigation canals, cheering with the volume of stadium fans. One girl has tied 3 leaves together to make a raft and insists her boat is for royalty only. An elder watches from her porch, chewing betel nut and shaking her head like she's seen this game 100 times. She probably has. You sit beside her. She tells you that in her childhood, banana leaves were used for everything: plates, umbrellas, even makeshift raincoats. If it couldn't be fixed with a banana leaf, she says, you didn't need it fixed. Then she tells you something odd. When she was a girl, her grandmother insisted that banana plants could sense jealousy. That if you praised one tree too much, the others would slow their growth out of spite. You ask if she believes it. She smiles, eyes still watching the racing boats. I don't take chances. The rain slows by afternoon. The banana plants, freshly transplanted, look like sleepy dancers mid-curtsy. You kneel by one and whisper something you don't plan to remember. A soft promise. A thank you. You're starting to understand. This isn't just about farming, it's about rhythm, relationship. A quiet kind of trust between human and plant, between breath and leaf. It's about showing up, even in the rain. By your third evening in the village, time has gone blurry. You can't remember if it's Tuesday or Thursday. The calendar feels irrelevant here. People measure the day by sun position and stomach grumbles, not numbers. Tonight, the village gathers for a not the banana kind this time, though you suspect a few trees will eavesdrop. This is the traditional serenade, music offered from the heart, often by young men who want to impress someone without making eye contact. They're setting up near the big mango tree again, the same one the twins commandeered for wish-making. A bamboo guitar appears, its strings loose and twangy, and someone begins tuning with the concentration of a man defusing a bomb. Soon music floats through the air, light, unsure, but sincere. You sit beside a group of older women. They're gossiping in hushed tones, but their laughter is sharp and unbothered. One pats your hand. You stay long enough, you'll get sung to too. You don't know if that's a promise or a warning. One song begins with a faltering chord, then blooms into a melody about a girl who lives near the mountain and makes the best in the province. It's strangely specific. The chorus rhymes her name with coconut fame. You're impressed. And then unexpectedly the music shifts. The guitar softens. The singer closes his eyes, and the next tune, while still in Tagalog, feels older, sadder, familiar in that aching way that lullabies can be. You catch the word saging, banana. It's a song about leaving home, about missing the trees that raised you, about remembering your mother's voice as she sang to the plants that fed you. One verse mentions how, even abroad, the smell of a ripe banana could bring someone to tears. You wonder if that's how these traditions survived colonization, through memory disguised as flavor, through song disguised as farming. And after the song ends, there's a moment of stillness. Even the frogs stop croaking. Then someone claps, another whistles. The spell breaks, but not all the way. You feel like a part of it still hums inside your chest. Later, walking back through the grove, you pass the same banana trees you've been visiting all week. And now they don't look passive, they look aware, like they've been watching. Remembering who stopped to sing, who forgot, and who came back. You pause beside the tallest one, you reach out. Your fingers brush a leaf. It twitches slightly in the breeze, or maybe in response, who can say? The night is warm. The music lingers. And somewhere under a thick canopy of green, the bananas wait, quiet, listening, ready for another song. The morning is unusually silent. Not the eerie kind of silence. No, this one is soft, respectful. The kind of hush that happens after a night of storytelling, as though the trees themselves are still digesting what they overheard. You rise slowly, stretching joints that feel older than they are. Your borrowed mat creaks in protest, as if to say, already. You offer it a polite pat, then step outside barefoot. The earth is cool, damp. As across the clearing, the twins are collecting fallen banana leaves, stacking them like paper. When you wave, they wave back but don't speak. It's early. Even children know to tread lightly when the world hasn't finished waking. You wander, no goal in mind, just a desire to follow wherever the day might take you. You pass the grove, your old friends now, and nod. The stalks sway slightly. You like to think they're nodding back. Someone's lighting a cooking fire. The smoke winds upward, thin and gray, like a pencil sketch against the pale sky. It smells like garlic and day-old rain. You find yourself standing by the river. It moves a little faster today, likely fed by the rain. The surface ripples gently, reflecting the banana trees that line toward it, their leaves trailing like fingers grazing water. A farmer named Alling meets you there. She's in her 60s, maybe 70s, or perhaps simply aged by the sun and stories. Her skin is the color of worn wood, her hair tied back with a ribbon that might once have been blue. She doesn't say hello, just gestures for you to sit. You obey. She begins to tell you, with no preamble, about the time her father carved music into a banana tree. It was after his brother died, she says. He didn't cry, didn't speak, just went to the tree and carved lines in the bark like a music staff. And then he'd sing to it every day, same melody, no words. Well, you ask if the tree did anything. So she looks at you sideways. It grew bananas than any other tree we ever had. A coincidence? Maybe. But in this village, coincidences are just facts you haven't learned the full story behind. The tree eventually fell in a storm, but saved one of its suckers, planted it in a clay pot, and sang to it every year on her father's death anniversary. She shows you the pot tucked beside her house. The plant is small but healthy. When she's finished telling the story, she hands you a banana. It's just been picked. Eat this while remembering someone, she says. It makes the flavor stay longer. You do as instructed. It's good, not mind-blowing, but good in the way warm memories are, comforting, familiar. As you finish, you hear singing in the distance. A group of children are walking through the grove, each holding a small flag made of banana leaf. They're headed to the far field where new shoots are being planted today. You follow, curious. So when you arrive, a ritual is beginning. Nothing elaborate, just a circle of villagers standing barefoot in the mud, singing a simple tune in unison. No instruments, just voices. You learn it's called a lay, an offering, not to a god or saint, but to the earth itself. A way of saying we're still here, please let us stay. They plant each sucker with care. One man hums. Another whispers encouragement to the shoot in a way that makes you unexpectedly emotional. And suddenly you realize, this whole time you've been asking the wrong question. It's not why they sing to the bananas. It's why we ever stopped. That night you stay up later than usual. The village is quieter than it has been. Fewer fires lit. Fewer dogs barking. just the sounds of insects tuning their tiny instruments and the occasional of a gecko announcing its presence. You lie back on your mat and stare at the ceiling, wondering if the banana grove looks different at night. You grab your lantern. It's time to find out. As outside, the air has cooled but not cold. A breeze brushes past you, carrying with it the scent of damp leaves, burnt sugar, and something faintly citrusy. You walk slowly, the light from your lantern throwing gentle shadows that dance like memories on the packed dirt. Though the banana grove is still, but not lifeless. You stand among them, lantern held high. The trees tower above you, their leaves trembling slightly even though the wind has calmed. You step between the rows. The ground beneath your feet is full of life. You hear a sound, not a voice, not exactly, more like resonance, the echo of every song ever sung here. You set the lantern down and sit beneath a tree. The silence is thick but not empty. It's full, holding centuries, holding secrets. You close your eyes and you hum. It's clumsy at first, then softer. Rounder, your own lullaby improvised, maybe off-key but true. You're not singing to the banana trees anymore. You're singing with them. It's the kind of moment historians can't document. One that leaves no ruins, no artifacts, just feeling, just memory. When you open your eyes again, the moon has shifted. Time has moved. You pick up your lantern and begin to walk back. The path glows faintly under your feet, as though marked by some quiet starlight. When you pass the twins' house, you see them asleep on the porch, tangled together in a hammock, each clutching a banana leaf like a blanket. And an elder hums to herself in the dark, rocking slowly. The grove behind you sways, or bows, or maybe just breathes. Though the night doesn't say goodbye, it simply waits for your return. Though the next day arrives like a soft knock on the door. You don't hear it, you feel it. The temperature shift, the way the light changes, how the roosters clear their throats in unison like they've rehearsed this morning call for centuries. You rise slowly, your body now attuned to the rhythm of this place. You no longer check the time, you check the sun. And today it lingers low and mellow, caught between night's quiet retreat and the sun's reluctant announcement. There's breakfast on the wooden table outside your hut. You're not sure who left it, probably the twins. Possibly the banana trees, either way it's warm. Fried plantains and rice steamed in coconut milk, puro maya wrapped tight in banana leaf. You eat in silence, watching as mist curls across the fields like the earth is still exhaling from the night. A man named Ben joins you. He's lean, sun-worn, and speaks with the slow clarity of someone who sees time as a companion, not a master. "Oh, you've heard them sing," he says, not as a question. "Oh, you nod. But have you heard them argue?" You pause, banana trees arguing. Oh, he chuckles, not the trees, the singers. He explains, not every song is sweet. Some are sharp, not all verses are lullabies, some are complaints, disagreements. a way to negotiate with the land when it doesn't listen. There was a man, he continues, who used to scold his whole grove every morning, said the bananas were lazy. One day he lost half his harvest to rot. Now you raise your eyebrows. After that he started singing praises instead. Guess what? Next harvest, perfect fruit. Now you ask if that was coincidence. Ben shrugs, or maybe the trees were just tired of his attitude. He grins, then gestures for you to follow. He leads you deeper into the grove to an area you haven't seen yet. The trees here are older, taller. One has carvings in the bark. Small, careful notches like someone was keeping track of something. This is where my mother used to sing, he says. She sang stories, not instructions. She told the trees everything, who was born, who died, who fell in love. She believed the trees kept our family history better than any priest. You reach out and run your fingers across the carvings. They feel like memory etched into time. And then Ben does something unexpected. He sings. His voice is low, a little gravelly, but steady. The tune is repetitive, hypnotic. He sings of planting seasons and lost lovers and a storm that took 2 goats but spared the smallest banana tree. He sings a verse about a child who learned to walk among these trees, chasing chickens and dreams. He sings and the trees seem to listen. Or maybe it's just the wind making them nod politely. When he stops, there's silence, not empty silence, the kind that comes after something important. He turns to you, you can sing too. You hesitate. I don't know the words, you say. Then makes them up. So you do. A simple melody, no structure, just breath. Gratitude. A thank you to the wind, the warmth, the trees that stood and waited through all your silent mornings. Ben nods, satisfied, now they know you. You leave the grove changed, not dramatically, but like a stone turned slightly in a river, subtle, certain, and forever. That afternoon, the village prepares for saging, the banana festival. It's not an official holiday, not on any calendar, but here, in this sleepy barangay, it's a real celebration. One not announced by fireworks, but by the smell of frying batter and the sudden appearance of banana-themed decorations on every available surface. The banners made of yellow cloth flap from every bamboo pole. Children paint faces on bananas and tie them into tiny hammocks hung from tree branches. Someone constructs a banana crown and insists it will only fit the queen of ripeness. A makeshift stage is built from crates. There's going to be a talent show. Most performances will involve bananas. At least one child plans to recite a poem from the perspective of a lonely plantain. You are, of course, invited. They dress you in a shirt dyed with turmeric and crushed guava leaves, claiming it's traditional. It smells like kitchen experiments and forest walks. You don't argue. The first act is a folk dance performed barefoot on banana leaves. The dancers move slowly, deliberately, bending and turning like saplings in a breeze. Each step is a conversation with the earth. Then come the songs. Ballads, lullabies, a hilarious parody involving a love triangle between a banana, a mango, and a jackfruit. The crowd howls. You don't understand every word, but laughter is fluent across all languages. A woman named 8 presents banana dishes to the crowd. Turon, caramelized banana wrapped in crispy wrappers. A banana ketchup, yes ketchup, but fruity, spicy, and sweet. I mashed bananas with coconut and condensed milk, served on banana leaves, obviously. She explains that during World War II, when tomatoes were scarce, Filipinos invented banana ketchup. Necessity is the mother of innovation, she says. But in the Philippines, innovation is also the cousin of hunger and the godchild of too many bananas. The festival winds down at sunset. People sit on woven mats passing around snacks, telling stories. Someone strums a guitar, someone else sings a line and forgets the rest. No one minds. The twins approach you with a gift, a banana leaf folded into the shape of a heart. Inside, they've placed a small note written in wobbly handwriting. It says, don't forget to sing to things that feed you. You blink once or twice. Then fold the leaf carefully and tuck it into your bag. The sky glows orange. The grove in the distance lanes into the dusk. And somewhere in the trees, you imagine the next bunch of bananas ripening a little faster, just to be part of the next story. The morning after the banana festival feels quieter than usual. Not out of exhaustion exactly, more like the village is still holding onto the last notes of song, the last flavors of sweet banana fritters, the last giggles from children pretending to be fruit royalty. The air smells like cooled oil and dried palm fronds, and a little bit of pride. You step outside barefoot again. At this point, you've given up on shoes entirely. They sit by the door, untouched, slightly dusty, beginning to look confused about their purpose. A few villagers are sweeping up glitter. Yes, someone introduced glitter to the celebration, and yes, it has ended up everywhere. Even in the banana grove, sparkles glint on leaves like someone tried to turn the plants into prom queens. You wander toward the grove, feeling the rhythm of the place return to its default setting. Calm, curious, patient. At the grove's edge, you meet someone new. She's older than anyone you've spoken to so far. Her name is Lola, though she insists on just Lola. Her back curves like a crescent moon, and her hair is the soft white of coconut meat. She leans on a stick carved from an old banana stalk. You've been singing, she says, her voice like rice paper, fragile but not weak. You nod. She smiles. Good, the trees know your voice now, they won't forget. You ask her how long people have sung to bananas. Her eyes crinkle, longer than anyone remembers. Maybe since the first one grew and someone got impatient waiting for it to ripen. She sits on a low bench beneath a thick-leafed tree. You join her. She tells you about the old days, before electric light, before paved roads, before global trade. Back when every banana was grown within walking distance of where it was eaten. When each grove had its own character, its own moods. There was one tree, she says, pointing with her chin, that used to bloom early if you danced under it. Well, you ask if she danced. She laughs, I did once. My skirt caught on fire, but the tree still bloomed. She grows serious then and shares an old superstition few remember. That if a banana tree bears fruit in a cluster of 13, someone in the village will fall in love. Not die, not get rich, fall in love. A superstition rooted not in fear but in possibility. The scholars have debated the accuracy of these old beliefs, of course. Whether such clusters were real or imagined. Whether the stories were metaphors or warnings or just ways to keep children from eating too many bananas at once. But here, truth doesn't need proof to persist. Lola hums a tune as she peels a ripe banana with hands as wrinkled as the fruit's skin. She passes you half. This one's from a tree that's never lied. While you bite into it, it's different. Richer, dense, like it's been listening this whole time and decided to say something back. You sit in silence with her for a long while, chewing slowly. The grove hums around you. A dog sleeps in the shade. A carabao snorts once dramatically, then falls asleep again. And all the while, Lola's tune lingers in the air like a story that hasn't been told yet. Maybe tomorrow. Oh, it's your last full day in the village. You didn't plan for it to be, but something in the rhythm of life back home is calling you back. You check your phone for the first time in days. It's full of messages and updates and reminders that suddenly feel like static. The village doesn't know you're leaving yet. You decide to keep it that way just for today, to preserve the illusion that you live here, that you belong here, that this life of slow steps and banana rituals and songs sung for no one but the leaves is yours. You spend the day walking, no destination, just soft steps and time to remember the way your own breath sounds when it isn't being drowned out by bus engines and city plans. The grove welcomes you without ceremony. You sit among the trees and begin to hum. It's not a farewell tune, not yet, more like a check-in, like saying, I'm still here. A boy appears from behind a tree. He's maybe 8, barefoot, wearing a shirt that reads Future Astronaut despite being mostly held together by safety pins. He sits beside you, offers you a banana with a proud little nod. You peel it, eat in silence. Then he starts to sing. No words, just notes. High and lilting, with sudden squeaks like a voice too young to control itself. You ask him where he learned it. My grandmother sang it to me, he says. She said the trees liked it. You ask if he believes her. He nods. One time I sang to a tree that didn't have any bananas, and the next week it had a baby one. She said it was because of me. You smile. That kind of faith doesn't need analysis. You walk back to the village together. The boy skips. You don't, but you feel lighter. By evening, people begin to gather without planning to. They bring out lanterns again. Leftover snacks, the guitars. Someone starts singing. This time it's your melody, the one you made up in the grove. It travels from one mouth to another like a candle passed around in the dark. Imperfect but glowing. Though they don't know it's yours, that doesn't matter. Though the twins hand you a banana leaf fan. For your trip, they whisper. You haven't told them yet, but somehow they know, of course they do. Later, as the stars blink awake and the trees stand tall in the glow of memory and firelight, someone hands you a small bundle wrapped in a banana leaf. Inside, a folded note, one ripe banana, and a string of tiny bells. The note reads, I come back when you forget how to listen. You hold it tight. You look at the grove. And though no one sings at this moment, the silence is still full of music. Your last morning in the village begins before the sun. You're awake before the roosters, before the light, before even the mist has decided where to settle. It feels like standing in the space between two pages, one still turning, the other not yet written. You sit quietly on the bamboo steps of the hut, listening, not for anything in particular, just listening. A skill that feels unfamiliar in the city, but second nature here. In the half-dark, the grove feels closer than usual. You can't see it from here, but it's as if the trees have crept nearer in the night just to eavesdrop one last time. A soft rustling sound breaks the stillness. Someone is coming. It's Ben, carrying 2 mugs of coffee. He doesn't say anything, just hands you one and sits beside you, his bones creaking like tired floorboards. The mug is handmade, probably from local clay, and chipped in 3 places. The coffee tastes slightly burnt, impossibly strong, and exactly right. You're leaving, he says after a while. You nod. He sighs, not out of disappointment but inevitability. Everyone does, but not everyone comes back. You asked him if he ever left. Once, he says, to the city, tried to sell banana chips, failed, came home and sang to the trees until they forgave me. You ask how he knew they forgave him. He grins, they bloomed. Behind you, the sky begins to lighten. Roosters stir. A kettle whistles in someone's kitchen. The village is beginning its quiet stretch into the day. The twins appear next, sleepy-eyed and carrying a banana wrapped in a tiny scarf. It's for your trip, one mumbles. It's enchanted, probably. You thank them, you don't ask what the enchantment does. You don't want to ruin it by knowing. The villagers gather one by one. No big speech. No dramatic goodbyes, just small gestures, a packed lunch, a woven bracelet, a song hummed under someone's breath. And then it's time. You take one last walk through the grove. The trees stand tall, familiar, unbothered by your departure. That's the thing about trees, they're always halfway between memory and presence. They don't say goodbye. You return to the city. It's loud, bright, structured in all the ways the village was soft. The buildings are tall and impatient. The traffic sounds like arguments. Everyone walks like they're 5 minutes behind even when they're on time. Your first few days back feel like trying to run while still dreaming. Everything is too fast, too square, too loud. You find yourself humming at odd moments. On the subway, in the grocery store, waiting at a traffic light, nothing with words, just low, winding melodies you picked up from the trees. As at some point you buy a banana from a supermarket, it's perfectly yellow, uniform, identical to the 30 others on the shelf. You bring it home, set it on the table, stare at it. You don't eat it, not yet. Instead, you hum. Just a little. Just to see. The banana doesn't respond, but the apartment feels quieter afterward, like it needed the song more than the fruit did. You start small rituals. You whisper to your houseplants. You listen to rain without putting on music over it. You start using your old enamel mug again, even though it leaks a little. You slow down. Just a bit. You begin to dream about the village, not always directly. Sometimes it's the trees. Sometimes the sound of frying. Once, it was the twin girls standing on a skyscraper rooftop holding banana leaves like flags. Your friends notice you seem calmer, one says. You shrug, I remembered how to listen. They laugh, but you mean it. One day, months later, you open your backpack and find the folded banana leaf heart the twins gave you. The note is still there. Don't forget to sing to things that feed you. You pin it to your wall, right beside your calendar. A soft reminder in a world of hard edges. You go to the farmer's market the next weekend. Not because you need to, just because you missed something. You find a small stall selling bananas, not the usual Cavendish. The seller is an older woman with sharp eyes and a woven hat decorated with tiny mango pins. You ask if they were sung to. She blinks, then grins, every morning, and once when it rained sideways. You buy a bunch, take them home, set them on your counters. And a hum. Because now you know. The banana doesn't need the song, you do. You begin to notice banana trees everywhere. Not just in markets or grocery stores, but hidden in the margins of the city, wedged into alleys between crumbling walls, peeking over backyard fences, growing from forgotten pots on balconies, like green ghosts reclaiming space. You never noticed them before. Now they stand out like familiar faces in a crowd, like old classmates you never spoke to but somehow still remember. You walk differently now, slower, less like a commuter, more like a listener. You start to notice how different banana plants look outside the village. Their leaves are stiffer, less wild, their trunks trimmed neatly. They look restrained. It makes you wonder, do these trees get sung to? You doubt it. But maybe they remember. One afternoon, while walking home from work, you pass a small community garden nestled behind a rusted gate. There's a single banana plant growing near the fence, its leaves brown-edged but determined. Oh, you stop. Oh, you don't mean to. Your feet do it without permissions. Oh, you hum. Just a few notes, just loud enough for the leaves to catch. Someone behind you clears their throat. You turn. It's an old man with a too big for his head and gloves too small for his hands. Oh, you're not from here, he says. Oh, you nod, just passing by. Oh, he glances at the banana plant. She's stubborn, didn't grow anything last year. Oh, you smile, maybe she's lonely. He chuckles, aren't we all? You start to visit the garden every few days. You bring water, you weed around the plant. You hum, not for long, just enough to let the plant know you showed up. And over time, the banana begins to bloom. A pale green flower first, then the long red bud. Fingers of fruit begin to unfurl, tiny at first, like promises made quietly. Now the old man notices. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Now you nod, but you don't tell him the secret. That sometimes it's not about the fruit. It's about remembering how to be in conversation with things that never speak, but always answer. You decide to plant your own banana tree. Your apartment balcony isn't much, a slab of cement just big enough for one chair and a lot of regret. But you buy a pot, fill it with soil, place the sucker carefully, like tucking a child into bed. You name it Lola. Oh, because why not? And each morning you sing to it. Sometimes old songs, sometimes nonsense, sometimes just the melody of your own breath. The neighbors think you're weird. But the plant grows. Slowly, surely. And for the first time, your balcony feels like part of the world again. One day, you receive a letter. Not an email, not a message, a real letter. The envelope is thick, the handwriting careful. It's from the village. Inside is a folded sheet of banana paper. Yes, paper made from real banana fiber, rough and golden, and curled at the edges like it got sunburned in the mail. The letter is from the twins. They write about the new school year. About how the older one got picked to play Maria in the school play, and how the younger one insists on playing the Carabao. They include a drawing of you under a banana tree, with a crooked smile and musical notes coming out of your mouth. At the bottom, in big, clumsy handwritings, the bananas remember you. You sit down on the floor with the letter in your lap. Something inside you exhales. Later, you write back. You tell them about your apartment banana tree, about the community garden, about the songs you still sing and the ones that visit only in dreams. You include a drawing of your own, 2 banana trees holding hands. You don't hear back for a long time, weeks pass, then months. But one morning, as you're watering your balcony plant, you hear it, faintly. Music. Not from your apartment, not from a speaker, but drifting through the alley below where the wind catches sounds and carries them upward like secrets. Oh, it's the same tune you sang in the grove. You lean over the railings. A girl is walking by wearing a backpack and carrying a banana. She's humming softly to herself, unaware anyone is listening. You smile. You don't know how she learned that tune. Maybe someone else visited the village. Maybe the wind taught her. Or maybe the song just wanted to live. You begin to understand now, truly understand, why they sing to bananas. Because in a world that rushes and forgets and fractures so easily, there's something radical about gentleness, about intention, about singing to what feeds you. Oh, even if it doesn't have ears. Oh, even if it never sings back. You go inside, sit with your tree, hum a verse. You're not singing to the fruit. You're singing to the memory. To the places. To the people. To the soft, unseen thread that still connects you to a grove far away, where children laugh, where elders hum, where the trees don't need to talk, because they're always, always listening. The seasons change, slowly, almost apologetically. In the city, the signs are subtle. Umbrellas appearing in store windows, street vendors selling grilled corn instead of ice cream. The way the sun now slants a little differently through the glass in the early afternoon. Your banana plant, Lola, grows taller. Her leaves fan out with increasing confidence, like she's finally decided the balcony is hers. She hasn't fruited yet, but that's okay. You're not waiting on fruit, you're waiting on time, on rhythm, on the quiet conversation between care and return. One weekend, you visit a local botanical garden. It's a sprawling place with carefully labeled signs and manicured hedges, the kind of garden that feels curated more than grown. You wander through the tropical plant section and find yourself standing before a towering banana tree, taller than any you've seen since the village. Its trunk is wide, streaked with burgundy, its leaves so broad and unblemished they almost look artificial. You place your hand gently on its side. It's cool to the touch, still and strong. You hum quietly just a bar or two of the old tune. As someone walks past you, a woman with a small child. She stops, watches you for a moment. Then she leans to her son and says, "He's singing to the plants like my grandmother used to." You turn, smile. She smiles back. She said they grow better when you do that. You nod, they do. Later, back home, you do a little research. You fall into one of those late-night internet spirals where one fact leads to another. You learn that studies have shown plants respond to vibration. Some even differentiate between music and noise. You find an old Tagalog poem from the early 1900s, written by a schoolteacher in province titled Para Saging, a song for the banana. It's a short, simple rhyming. Hello, saging. Oh, internet. Zanmo, oh my beloved banana, smile in the rains. Don't sulk beneath the sun's heat. For in your sweetness we are made whole. You read it 3 times, then print it out. Tape it to your wall beside the twins' notes. There's something profoundly tender in the idea that food and affection have always been entwined. That people didn't just grow things. They spoke to them, coaxed them, sang their own longing into the leaves. You sit on the balcony with Lola and recite the poem aloud. She doesn't respond, at least not immediately. But the next morning, there's a new life. Coiled tight, still green, emerging like a secret about to be told. And you think that's as close to applause as a banana plant gets. You start to notice how people around you treat the things that feed them. You see commuters eating from plastic boxes with plastic forks, eyes on their phones. You hear someone complain that the bananas at the store are too brown. You see fruit thrown out for being too soft, too speckled, too ripe. It bothers you in a way it didn't before. Because you remember the twins painting faces on every banana they touched. You remember the woman who wrapped a fritter in a napkin like she was tucking in a baby. You remember the man who whispered stories into the bark of trees that couldn't answer but always listened. You start bringing bananas to work. When you can find them, you keep them on your desk. Unpeeled, proud. You begin to notice. You've been eating a lot of bananas lately. You nod, I'm in a relationship with ones. Though they laugh, unsure if you're joking. You start a new habit. Once a week, you bring a bunch to the office and leave them in the break room. You attach a note. Grown with care, please hum before you eat. Most people ignore the humming part. One woman does it, though. She stops you in the hallway. I hummed, she says. It felt stupid. You nod, but the banana tasted good. She grins, weirdly good. You tell her the story, not all of it. Just the part about the village, the grove, the singing. She listens. At the end, she's quiet for a moment. Then you should write that down. You think about it, you already have in your own way. In song, in ritual, in the careful slicing of fruit. One evening, you're walking through the neighborhood when you pass the old community garden again. The banana tree by the fence now has 3 small bunches growing. The old man waves at you. You were right, he says, she was lonely. You offer to visit more often, maybe bring music next time. He nods, we're having a harvest potluck next week. Come, bring a banana dish. You do. You bring mashed banana and cassava with coconut, served on a banana leaf just like in the village. People ask you how it's made. You tell them it starts with a song. The children don't laugh at that. They ask you to sing it. So you do. The same melody you sang in the grove. Your voice is quiet, unsure at first, but someone claps. Then another hums along. A few sway just a little. A few smile in that way people do when they remember something they didn't know they forgot. And in the center of it all, the banana plant leans ever so slightly. Oh, as if to say, yes. Oh, yes, I remember. Oh, yes, I hear you. Oh, yes, it matters. Though the potluck lingers. It doesn't end when the food runs out, or when the paper plates go soft in people's hands. It continues in the leftovers wrapped with care, in the way people hum as they clean up, in the slow swirl of stories told one more time just to hear the sound of remembering. You stay late helping fold up plastic chairs, sweeping banana leaves off the table one by one. The old man from the garden insists you take a plantain home. It's still green, stubbornly so. Let it ripen, he says, like good ideas. You carry it home like it's breakables. On the way, a child sees you and says, "That banana looks important." You grin, "It is." Back at your apartment, you place it beside Lola. She's grown another leaf, this one wider than the rest, proud, arched, confident. You light a candle just because. You said. And quietly you sing. The tune is a blend of all the others now. It starts like the lullaby Lola hummed, folds into the rhythm of Ben's field songs, and rises like the silly parade chant the twins shouted about banana queens and invisible kingdoms. Your plant doesn't answer, but it leans slightly toward you. And for a moment, your city balcony feels like the edge of a grove just before dusk. You breathe. Inhale, exhale. You remember something Ben said, something about how songs aren't really for the trees, they're for us. They help us stretch the soul into the shape of patience. You think about how rare that is now, to wait, to care for something with no deadline, to believe in sweetness that takes its time. Later that week, the banana from the potluck begins to ripen. It doesn't just change color, it softens. It sighs into yellow, blooming with brown freckles like it's aging into honesty. You don't rush it, you let it decide when it's ready. And when you finally peel it open, it tastes warm, complex, like soil and song and maybe just a hint of memory. You saves the peel, compost it in the pot with Lola, a little offering. You feel like that matters now. You begin to collect banana stories. At first, it's unintentional. Says her grandfather used to fry bananas with sugar and garlic. A taxi driver tells you he once used a banana stalk to fix a broken bumper. A stranger at a bookstore mentions that in her, people buried coins near banana roots to encourage abundance. You start writing them down in a notebook made of recycled paper stitched with green thread. You call it Songs the Bananas Heard. One afternoon, you find a podcast episode about a remote village in southern Luzon where farmers still practice lighting small candles at the base of banana trees during storms to keep the spirits warm. Another evening, An elderly Filipina customer at a produce stall tells you she used to whisper the names of loved ones into the trees she planted, so they'd always grow near me. Well, you ask if she thinks it worked. She shrugs. My husband was allergic to bananas, but he never left. You smile. Some stories are truths, others are jokes wearing robes of belief. You welcome both. You write each tale carefully, not like a reporter, like a gardener, slowly with intentions. One morning, you wake to the sound of birds outside your window. You step onto the balcony, coffee in hand. Lola has begun to flower. You stare at the bloom, stunned. It emerges like a red flame, a tightly curled heart surrounded by layers of thick purple bracts. It's a banana blossom, delicate, fleshy, and entirely real. You've seen hundreds before, but this one is yours. You crouch beside it and whisper, "Thank you." Then you sing a soft tune, no fanfare. You don't record it, you don't need to. It's not a performance, it's a conversation. You remember what the twins said about bananas remembering people. And now you believe them. A few days later, you attend a storytelling event at a local cultural center. You read one of the entries from your notebook. It's the tale of a boy who sang to a single stubborn banana tree for years before it bloomed the day he turned 13. When you finish, the room is quiet. Not from boredom, but reverence. A woman in the back raises her hand. Did that really happen? You pause. Then you say, the tree did bloom. And that's enough. That night, someone emails you to ask for the lyrics to the banana lullaby. You laugh because there are no lyrics. There never were. Just melody, just intention, just time. You reply anyway. Sing whatever you feel, but mine it. You think of all the things that can't be measured, how joy softens fruit, how rhythm teaches patience, how kindness lingers in soil longer than we know. You close your laptop. Step outside. The banana blossom has grown larger. Its petals hang open like a yawn. And in the middle of the city, under the flicker of your balcony becomes a quiet stage. You hum. And somewhere far away, in a village wrapped in banana leaves and memory, the trees hum back. The city moves as it always does, but you drift. Not like a leaf torn from its branch, but more like a boat moving with the tide, aware of the current but unwilling to rush. The banana plant on your balcony is thriving. A few neighbors have taken notice. One stops you in the elevator and asks what kind of fertilizer you use. You smile and say, "Mostly songs." She laughs, but later that week, you hear her humming while watering her rosemary bush. One evening, you're invited to speak at a small university panel on urban gardening. You're not entirely sure how they found you. Someone heard about your balcony banana plant, someone else read your story online, and now you're seated in a classroom with soft yellow lighting, speaking into a microphone to a room of students who expected a lecture on soil pH. Instead, you tell them about the grove, about Lola, about how people once believed bananas could sense jealousy, about how a boy sang to a tree that never bore fruit until it did. You keep your voice calm, gentle, as if narrating to the trees themselves. Some students nod. One in the back is quietly crying, though they don't seem sad, just remembering something. As afterward, a girl approaches you with a folded note. She doesn't say much, just presses it into your hand. Later, when you open it, the handwriting is jagged but sincere. I used to sing to my mother's houseplants. She told me I was teaching them to be brave. You tuck the note into your growing collections. Back home, Lola has begun producing the early signs of fruit, small green fingers nestled in the shadow of her blossom, tentative and shy. You don't throw a party. You just sit with her and quiet. You tell her stories. One about the twins and the invisible banana kingdom. Another about a man who once believed trees listened better when you wore your Sunday shoes. And as the sun lowers behind the rooftops, casting your balcony in soft gold, you sing. Not for the fruit, for the space between seed and bloom, for the act of caring anyway. Because love, it seems, is most powerful when given without guarantee. You decide to take a trip. Not far, just a few hours outside the city. A friend invites you to visit their family's farm. You agree, not because you're searching for anything, but because the thought of sitting beneath a real banana grove again makes something in your chest loosen. When you arrive, the air smells right, earthy, honest, the kind of air that's been rinsed by wind and time. Their grove is modest, no more than 20 trees, but it hums with life. Bees hover lazily near the blossoms. A dog naps between the trunks. Somewhere nearby, someone is chopping firewood with the rhythm of a practiced hand. You wander between the rows. The trees here feel familiar. They sway the way the ones in the village did. You find a small clearing and sit. The grass is thick, slightly damp. The sky above filters through layers of green, painting your skin in dappled shadow. You close your eyes and breathe. And the memories return not as flashbacks but as sensations. The warmth of the clay mug from Ben's. The crunch of banana fritters between your teeth. The hum of a lullaby with no words. You hums now without thinking. It comes out of you like water from a spring. Natural, inevitable. A young child wanders past, stops, listens. Why are you singing to the trees? They ask. You open your eyes, smile. They've heard everything else. I figured they deserved a song too. The child considers this, then hums a note of their own. Off-key, slightly too loud, perfect. Later, the family offers you a late afternoon snack. You sit at a wooden table with chipped cups and thick slices of fried saba bananas. So someone asks what you do in the city. So you pause. The answer isn't as clear as it used to be. I teach people how to listen again, you say finally, to slow things down. Though they nod like it makes sense. Before you leave, you walk through the grove one last time. You whisper a thank you to the trees. Then just before stepping into the car, you glance back. While one leaf lifts in the breeze. Just one. So like a hand waving. So like a breath being held and then released. Back in the city, the bananas on your balcony are ripening. Not all at once, not in any hurry. You peel the first one carefully, as if opening a letter from a dear friend. It's sweet, firmer than expected. The flavor settles on your tongue like a memory that has been waiting to be remembered. Well, you don't speak. You just smile. And begin to hum. The banana tree on your balcony, Lola, has become something of a local celebrity. Neighbors pass by more slowly now, their eyes glancing upward, lingering on the broad, wind-worn leaves like they're admiring a cathedral window. A schoolboy with oversized glasses waves at it each morning on his way to class. The older man in apartment 3A, who hasn't spoken to anyone in years, once left a handwritten note at your door. It read simply, "Tell your plant she's doing good work." All you did. And she seemed to stand a little taller the next morning. At the grocery store, someone sees the banana you've placed gently into your basket and asks you what kind of music you think it prefers. You pause, something slow, something patient. The woman nods, as if you've confirmed a suspicion she's had her whole life. One afternoon, a light rain falls while you're working from home. You take your tea out to the balcony and sit beside Lola. She's glistening, raindrops clinging to her leaves like tiny pearls. You speak softly to her, not a song this time, just a story. You tell her about how the twins once tried to convince you that bananas could dream. That one night, they each tied a red string around the same tree and made the same wish. And that 3 days later, they both found a 5 peso coin under the same rock. They were convinced the banana tree did it. You admit to no one in particular that you almost believe it now. Suddenly, a gust of wind pushes one of Lola's leaves forward. It brushes your arm like a hand. A coincidence, probably. Still, you hum. Just in case. That evening, you begin writing something new. Not a poem, not a journal entry, not even a story, really. You call it a field report for the soul. It's a list of things the banana grove taught you, each entry written like a leaf, simple and wide, holding more than it shows. You can grow in small containers if there's enough light. Sometimes the sweetest things take the longest to arrive. Singing is how we remember that we're alive. Even silence, when done with love, is a kind of caretaking. Though the past doesn't disappear, it ripens. You don't know if anyone will read it. But writing it feels like singing again. And that, for now, is enough. You visit a friend's apartment for dinner. It's small, full of stacked books and flickering candles. In the corner of the room stands a banana plant, not full-grown but hopeful. Its leaves are smaller, still curled at the edges like shy hands. Your friend catches you smiling at it. I started singing to it, they say, like you said. You raise an eyebrow. Well, humming, really. At first I felt ridiculous. But then it started growing faster, or maybe I just started noticing. You walk over and touch the tip of one leaf. It's cool, alive. She's listening, you say. Your friend looks relieved. Good, I told her about my breakup. You both laugh. You stay late that night. After dinner, you sit near the plant sipping tea. You talk about your visit to the village, about banana ketchup and old songs, and whether trees can hold grief like we do. Your friend grows quiet. Then says, do you think the way we care for plants could be how we start caring for each other again? You sit with that. Yes, you say, but only if we do it without expecting them to bloom on schedule. You leave your friend with a piece of banana bread and a scribbled verse from your field report. When you get home, Lola is waiting. She's swaying slightly, though there's no wind. You step onto the balcony and lean into her shadow. I told them about you, you whisper. And then, without thinking, you begin to sing. Now this song is different, not like the others. It has no origin, no script. It's made of everything you've gathered. The lullabies of the village. The whispers of soil. The sigh of ripening fruit. The crackle of oil and sugar in a clay pan. The soft hush of an old woman's voice. The memory of a leaf brushing your cheek. You sing and your voice carries. Not loud but far. And somewhere, maybe down the street, maybe in another village altogether, a banana tree hears it. Not with ears, but with patience. And maybe, if someone listens closely, they'll notice a new life in the morning. Unfurling, slow and certain. Like a response. Like a verse. Like a beginning. You've stopped checking the weather. Not because it doesn't matter, but because it feels different now. Less like something happening to you, more like something unfolding with you. When it rains, you open the balcony door and let the scent of wet cement and ripening fruit drift inside. When it's hot, you sit under Lola's biggest leaf and sip cold ginger tea. When the wind comes, you don't shut the window, you listen. Your rhythm has changed. You hum more often without realizing it, when stirring soup, when folding laundry, when unlocking your door. It's never a full song, just notes. A small ritual as ordinary and essential as washing your hands. You begin to notice echoes of this practice all around you. A child sings to their sandwich on the train. A flower shop owner plays old love songs to her orchids. A man walking two dogs whispers something rhythmic under his breath, not to the dogs, but to the trees lining the sidewalk. And something in you settles. Maybe the world was always humming. You just hadn't slowed down enough to hear it. You receive a package in the mail, no return address, just your name written carefully in black ink. Inside, a banana leaf folded into a star and a small envelope made of brown paper. The note says, we taught your song to the new trees. No signature. But you know exactly who it's from. You imagine the twins, now a little taller, walking through the grove with a wooden flute and a basket of mangoes, teaching melodies to saplings. You place the leaf star on your bookshelf beside the drawing they once sent you. It curls slightly at the edges over time but never loses its shape. A friend visits and asks about it. You smile and say it's a long story. Then you pause and add, but it ends with someone singing to the wind. And that seems to be enough. That evening, you sit down and write another page in your field report for the soul. This one reads, you can miss a place you've never lived in. You can speak to trees and mine it. Gratitude sounds best when sung. Time is a fruit, peel it gently. You don't write every day, but when you do, it's with the care of someone folding clothes for a long journey. Each sentence is a leaf. Each pause is a root. There's a neighborhood you visit on slow mornings. The owner, a woman named, bakes her banana bread with calamansi zest and coconut cream. You ask if she sings while baking. She tilts her head. No, but I do hums. The oven likes it better. You smile. She sits with you while you eat, as she always does. Her stories unfold slowly, like dough left to rise. Today, she tells you about her grandfather, who once carved a tiny flute from a banana stalk and played it every evening at sunset. The neighbors thought it was just habit. He claimed the trees clapped afterward. You ask if she believes him. She shrugs. The bread turns out better when I think about it. Later, you walk home under a sky that looks like it's been brushed with melted gold. Clouds hang like draped cloth. The light changes the color of every wall. You pause at a market stall and buy 2 bananas. Not because you need them, but because they look like they might have a story to tell. At home, Lola greets you like she always does, silent, steady, still taller than you. Her fruit is ripening in slow clusters. The blossom hangs low now, heavy with its own kind of wisdom. You peel 1 banana and place it on a small plate. Then you place the plate at the base of the pot. Here, you whisper, for the ones who sang before me. And you said, and you wait. You hum the lullaby again, not from memory now, but from instinct. And when you stop, you think you hear it echo, very faintly, as if from somewhere inside the trunk. Low vibrations. Like a heartbeat. You don't move. You don't speak. You just breathe. And in the quiet that follows, the apartment feels more alive than ever before. Not loud. Not busy. Just a present. It's as if everything, every leaf, every bowl, every forgotten notebook is finally listening back. It's a quiet Saturday when you receive the invitation. As a thin handmade card tucked into your mailbox. No envelope, no sender name, just 3 lines written in looping script. We are planting new trees this week. As if you remember the song, come. As if you've forgotten, come anyway. There's no address, but you recognize the shape of the handwriting, the way certain letters curve like leaves. And you know, you book a ticket the same day, pack light, 1 change of clothes, your notebook, a wrapped bundle of dried banana leaves you've kept in a drawer for months. When you arrive at the terminal, it's nearly empty. A boy sells boiled peanuts from a tin bucket. A woman is mending a shirt without urgency. You board a jeepney with rusting side mirrors and a sticker on the back that reads "God listens, even on bumpy roads." The trip is longer than you remembered, but that feels right. Some places should take time to return to. When you finally step onto the familiar dirt path, the air greets you like an old friend. Warm, slightly humid, tinged with smoke and sugar and rain-soaked grass. The village hasn't changed. Not really. The trees may have shifted, new fences might have appeared, but the rhythm remains. You're met by the twins, now taller, faces longer, but the same spark behind the eyes. You came, one says, handing you a peeled banana like it's a name tag. You remembered, the other says, and you realize she means more than the directions. You walk together to the grove. The path is worn but clean. You pass the old huts, the mango tree near the bridge, the corner where the carabao still pretends to be asleep. The grove is larger now, fuller. And in the middle, a clearing has been made. Dozens of small banana suckers are lined up in neat rows, like children waiting for their first day of school. Beside each one, a shallow bowl of water. Beside the bowls, banana leaves folded into tiny cranes. One by one, villagers gather, some old faces, some new. No one speaks loudly. Instead, someone begins to sing. Not a solo, not a performance, just a starting note. The others join in slowly, voices layering like wind across water. You don't know this melody. It's not the same as before, but it's made of the same stuff. It rises and folds, dips and blooms. You close your eyes and hum along. This is the planting ritual, not a ceremony, not officially, but a communal reminder that things grown in kindness bloom differently. Each person steps forward, kneels beside a sapling, pours a bit of water from the bowl, and hums something soft. When it's your turn, you kneel. Your hands sink gently into the soil. you press it around the base of the plant. You hum the same lullaby from your balcony. And for a moment the air holds its breaths. Then the wind moves through the leaves above, a long, lazy ripple. Oh, whisper a yes. Oh, you rise. And everything, every tree, every voice, every footstep feels woven together. Like a net holding a very old song. The planting continues until dusk. And afterward, the village gathers for a meal beneath strings of lanterns hung low between the trees. The table is long, the dishes familiar. Banana blossom stew, fried saba, rice wrapped in leaves. You sit beside Lola, who now uses a cane made from twisted bamboo. Her eyes are just as sharp. She hands you a bowl and says, "Eat first, philosophize later." You do. The food tastes like memory, like you've eaten it in 100 lifetimes. After the meal, someone brings out a guitar. It's missing one string. No one cares. Songs rise, stories bloom. You learn about a man who proposed marriage with a bunch of bananas. About a tree that only grew in curved shapes, never straight. About a ghost that haunts overripe fruit but sings lullabies if treated kindly. You add each story to your notebook later by moonlight. You write, some trees bend to light, others bend to kindness. Not all ghosts are sad, some are just musical. Laughter makes fruit, this is unofficial science. That night you sleep in the same hut as before, the same mat, the same slow fan. In the dark you hear singing. Soft, just a single voice, far off near the grove. You don't get up, you just listen. And slowly sleep folds over you like a banana leaf, wide, comforting, familiar. In your dream, you walk through a field of endless banana trees. But they're growing in the shape of stories, each leaf a page, each trunk a memory. The wind turns the leaves, and the trees hum back at you in languages you've never learned but somehow understand. When you wake, the sky is still gray. The first bird hasn't sung. You step out onto the porch and look at the grove. One tree has grown noticeably taller than the others. It bends slightly toward your hut. Just enough to say. The next morning, you don't rush. There's no reason to. The sun climbs carefully, stretching golden light across the thatched roofs like a shawl. A rooster calls, but softer this time, as if it too knows that today is not for hurrying. You sip ginger tea from a clay mug that wobbles slightly on its base. It's a good mug, honest, the kind that remembers every fire it's touched. You take it outside. The grove is breathing, not literally, of course, but it feels like it. The way the leaves sway just so. The way the air smells of wet soil and slow growth. The new trees are already taller, their green stretching upward like a hymn. Someone's placed fresh banana blossoms at the base of each one, offerings perhaps, or reminders. You find yourself walking the paths without thinking. your feet remembering more than your mind does. Now you stop at one tree, one of the new ones. Its trunk still slim, its leaves curling at the tips. Now you crouch beside it and speak. Just a whisper. I don't expect anything from you. So then you add, but I'm glad you're here. Now you don't know where the words came from, but they feel true. Later, the twins take you to a different part of the village, past the old bridge, down a winding trail lined with wild orchids and nervous chickens. At the end is a tiny clearing where 3 banana trees grow in a perfect triangle. This is the wishing grove, one of them says. So the other adds, only works if you tell the tree the wish, then leave without turning back. Well, you ask if it's ever worked. They look at each other, then one says, we asked for a visitor who remembered songs. Well, you laugh, that's cheating. But you make a wish anyway. You kneel. Close your eyes. And whisper a quiet hope, not for yourself, but for whatever future might grow from this grove, these voices, this tender, absurd tradition of singing to fruit. While you stand, and you don't look back. Later, you hum as you walk through the village. You realize something. You don't hum because the song is stuck in your head. You hum because the silence invites it. Because it wants to be filled gently, like a bowl left outside for rain. That evening, they hold a small gathering beneath the trees. No occasion, no festival, just the kind of shared pause that becomes a tradition by accident. Someone brings sweet rice wrapped in banana leaf. Someone else has a homemade bamboo flute. A lantern is hung from a branch with string that frays if you look at it too hard. You sit on a mat beside a tree whose leaves keep brushing your shoulder, like it's trying to get your attention. The air is thick with stories. One man tells of his grandmother, who could predict the weather based on how banana leaves curled. A child claims she heard a tree speak once, but no one believes her because it was also the day she had too much sugar. Lola arrives late, walking slowly, carrying a bundle of tiny, unripe bananas. She hands one to each person with the solemnity of a priest. When it's your turn, she pauses. Then says, for your balcony, in case she gets lonely. You promise to plant it. Someone begins to sing, not a lullaby this time, but a harvesting song. The rhythm is different, meant for movement, for lifting, for working with hands and feet and sweat and sun. But no one is working now, so the song softens, it becomes a dance of memory. You don't know all the words, but you hum anyways. And then suddenly, the trees seem to lean closer. Not to listen, but to join. It's hard to explain how a grove of banana trees can feel like a choir, but it does. And every rustle is a harmony, every leaf a verse. You lie back on the mat, the grass cool beneath you. The stars begin to appear slow and shy. You think of your balcony, of the plant waiting for you. of the neighbors who started humming too. You think of how far the song has traveled, and how much farther it still can go. While you close your eyes, and you say thank you. Not to anyone in particular, just into the dark. Because the dark, too, is listening. You leave the village at dawn. There's no fanfare, no goodbye party, no dramatic music or tearful speeches. Just the quiet sound of rice being washed in clay bowls, the faint hum of someone sweeping a porch, the gentle sway of banana leaves catching early morning light like slow applause. The twins walk with you as far as the mango tree. They don't say much, just walk shoulder to shoulder, their steps almost in sync with yours. Before you part, one of them hands you a folded piece of banana paper. Don't open it here, she says. Wait until the next time you forget something important. You nod, not because you understand, but because some instructions are meant to be followed without clarity. You board the jeepney, squeeze into your seat, and watch as the grove shrinks behind you leaf by leaf. And even though you're moving away, it doesn't feel like living. It feels like pressing a soft bookmark into a page you know you'll return to. Back in the city, everything is louder than you remember. The horns honk like they've been waiting just to startle you. The crosswalks flash too fast. The elevators seem offended when you press a button too slowly. But your apartment is calm. You walk onto your balcony and greet Lola's. She's grown taller in your absence. 2 new leaves. A curl of fruit near the base of the blossom. You sit beside her and hum. She doesn't respond. She doesn't need to. You reach into your bag and take out the sapling Lola gave you. Small, delicate, wrapped in a twist of banana fiber. You plant it in a clay pot beside Lola. Then you write a label. I'm from the grove for the future. That night, you finally open the folded banana papers. And inside, written in charcoal, is a single sentence. If the world gets too loud, sing softer. You place the note on your windowsill. And for the first time in a long time, the city feels like something you can listen to again. The seasons change again. Lola gives you her first full harvest. Small, sweet bananas that taste like summer afternoons and songs you hum in your sleep. While you make banana bread, you share it with neighbors. One of them leaves a note on your doors. What's your secret ingredient? You write back. Patience. And that's not a lie. You start a small weekend group called the Hum Garden. You don't advertise it. You just invite people quietly. They bring their plants. You sit in a circle and hum. At first, people laugh or hesitate. But after a while, their voices settle. No one sings in harmony. That's never the point. The sound is more like wind in tall grass, unorganized, unbothered, complete. One woman cries after the first session. She says she hadn't sung since her father died. So someone else brings a cactus and whispers, "I don't think it has ears." So you smile, sing anyway. So they do. And a week later, the cactus blooms. Now you write about this in your notebook. It's underlined. Not everything needs ears to hear. Not everything that grows needs to be convinced. You begin collecting voices now, not recordings, but impressions. The way people speak to things they love. The sounds they make when they think no one is listening. A shopkeeper talking to her mango display. As a man tuning his guitar before playing for his cat. A child whispering a story to their glass of water. You write them all down. And one evening, while watering Lola and her new sapling, you realize something. Well, you haven't stopped singing since the day you returned. Though the melodies have changed. They shift, stretch, shorten. Some are barely 2 notes, some sound like sighs, some are little more than breath moving with meaning. But you sing. Every day. To the trees. To the fruit. To silences. To memory. To the hope that someone somewhere might sing back. And sometimes it feels like they already are. So there's a new plant on your balcony. It's not a banana, not yet. It's a gift from a friend of a friend who heard about your singing and thought, this one might like a song too. You don't know its name, the tag was smudged. The leaves are broad and unsure, like they're still deciding who they want to be. You place it beside Lola and her sapling. You whisper a greeting. You hum. Just a few notes. The new plant doesn't move, doesn't react, but it stays, and that's something. Sometimes you think about the people you'll never meet who are also humming right now. People planting, watering, tending. People who grew up in villages that don't appear on maps, where the sun leans in gently and the trees remember everyone by voice. You wonder if the song stretches across oceans. If the banana trees in distant groves can hear you faintly through the soil. Maybe that's what roots are for. Not just anchoring, but listening. You keep writing. Your notebook is almost full now. The spine is cracked, the corners curled. You've pasted pressed leaves between some pages. Others are stained with coffee rings or thumbprints made of mango pulp. It is not tidy, but it is loved. You think you'll start a second one soon. The volume 2. Though the stories haven't stopped arriving. A stranger sends you a letter with a hand-drawn diagram of a tree that only blossoms when sung to at night. A child from your building knocks at your door and asks if she can borrow a song for her bean sprout. You tell her only if you return it with interest. She does threefold. Her bean sprout is now a vine winding up her window, its leaves waving at yours across the courtyard. You no longer think of these things as strange. You think of them as right. You think the world has always wanted to be sung to. We just forgot the tune for a while. One evening, you sit on your balcony with all your plants. The sun sets slowly, painting the walls with rose gold. A light breeze touches your face, cool and curious. You hum something old, something borrowed, something made of dusk and soil. And for a moment you could swear, just for a breath, that the leaves around you are humming back. Not in words, but in my presence, in the stillness, in the grace. And maybe that's all we've ever asked of the things we care for. To stay, to grow, to remember, and every now and then, to sing. Let your shoulders drop. Let the air settle. Let the story close its last soft page. You've walked through a village that never hurried. You've sat in the shade of trees that did not judge. You've heard lullabies without lyrics and tasted fruit than memory. You've learned that time stretches, not shrinks, when you listen slowly. That care doesn't need to be loud to be deep. That singing to a plant, to a memory, to yourself isn't foolish. It's sacred. The wind doesn't rush, the trees don't push, the fruit doesn't bloom for applause. And neither should you. Let this night be slow. Let your thoughts move like soft ripples across still water. As if something stayed with you from this journey, a line, a sound, a leaf, let it sit beside you now. Let it tuck you in. There's nothing else you need to do, no more pages to turn, no more stories to chase. Just the gentle hum of your breaths, the warm pull of gravity, and the memory of a song that doesn't need to be remembered to be true. Good night, gentle listener. May your roots run deep. May your leaves find light. And may you always, always sing to what feeds you. So we'll meet again in another grove. And until then, sleep softly.